12 weeks, 124 matches, and plenty of bangers all leading up to this. It's Championship Weekend. I'm James S. Patterson, joined by my wonderful crew for the conclusion of our North American Summer Split. And gents, let's dive right in because we got a whole lot to cover here today. We've had plenty of standout players vying for the spot of our Honda MVP, from the rise of rookie talents like Tactical to the growth of the entire FlyQuest roster. But of course, there can only be one Honda MVP. After much debate between fans, analysts, producers, and casters, it's going to be CoreJJ.
Wow.
Defining MVP is in the word valuable. What would a team be if you removed this player?
I've been feeling distant, like the world is slipping, losing touch of our reality.
Ignite is on, good damage, good play. They got him on they're running out of health! And that's gonna be first blood coming through.
Feels like my body is changing, but lows are something different. I'm fading, it kicks in, it hits me like amazing. The poison.
The hook's gonna land, CoreJJ rarely misses.
It is really honor to me. It means I'm actually back on the top as Captain America.
I've been hiding this all underneath, cause I know they're not ready.
Beautiful hook from CoreJJ.
He can see angles in the game where other players don't.
I don't think we've seen the Bard be this good in LCS.
I got power, superpower.
His ability to think 5-10 seconds ahead.
I got power.
He has just great vision in the game.
Oh, that feels bad, man. Dabbed on him as well.
Still gonna get away from that one. The hook into the turret. Goodbye. Great look from the core to set it up. Big hook. That is a game-saving move. CoreJJ with the God hand pull. You better be honoring your boy CoreJJ.
Much deserved for CoreJJ there. A very consistent summer split, helping Team Liquid recover from what was one of the worst spring split performances out of the organization. Quite a turnaround all the way to Honda MVP.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have a great spring split either, but we all knew he had this level in him, given that he had won an MVP before, and it was just such a dominating performance over the course of the entire regular season, busting out counter pick after counter pick, making huge game-saving plays. Like, he was absolutely the best player in the league during the regular season.
Without a doubt. Now, earlier we did have a chance to catch up with CoreJJ to talk about his team's prospects in playoffs and winning his second Honda MVP award. Let's check it out. Hey everyone, Dash here with your 2020 Summer Honda MVP. CoreJJ, congratulations on the award. Much deserved, my friend. But you've already won this award once, and you're right back at the top of the ladder. So how does it feel to win a second time around?
Yeah, it feels really, really good. Like, it feels like I proved myself. That last time was not lucky.
Well, okay. I'm kind of curious. Do you feel that, your playmaking ability was something the team needed to be more successful? Because in summer, we've seen you play a whole lot more playmakers.
We were keep improving in summer split. We were not the best team beginning of split, but
right
when we finished the regular split, I think we were on top. I really liked it.
Yeah, do you feel like this year was more challenging? Let's talk about your competition. Did you feel like it was definitely more challenging in summer, even though you did eventually get to the top?
Yeah, I definitely think so, because there has been always a Cloud9 spring and summer. There was always a big war. Like, everyone has to overcome C9 to be a better. I believe that C9 elevate all the ACS teams.
I want to talk to you about your partner in the bot lane, because Tactical, he got Rookie of the Year. You've got MVP of the split. So this is a star-studded bot lane, my friend. But so often, when we talk about this, people are always curious, Core, what are you teaching Tactical, right? Because he's the rookie. But since you're the veteran, has Tactical taught you anything? How has he helped you get better and improve as a player?
Actually, like, I actually have an English teacher, Sophie, but Tactical is my in-life English teacher.
That's amazing.
we talk each other like almost everything by communicating by sharing the idea of a game. We just improving each other.
So communication has been a big level up for you guys this year. Let's talk about what still lies ahead of you, because we're not done just yet. Before we got on camera, you and I were talking about this weekend and how you're very excited to play. You might have up to 2 best of 5s, 10 games this weekend. So first you've got to play TSM, and if you beat them, you get that rematch against FlyQuest, which unfortunately didn't go your way just last week. But talk to me about this week. How are you feeling leading up to it? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that was the last winners bracket final game was really sad, but I kind of want to use since we lost, I kind of want to maximize this benefit of double elimination. So I'm gonna use TSM for our improving partner, good screen partner, and then I'm gonna try to be the FlyQuest.
Well, you're just doing your job, and you're doing it the best out of anybody. That's for damn certain here with this award. Core, just any last thoughts you have going into this weekend? Obviously, you're feeling confident, but Team Liquid had 4 straight splits of dominance. Lost, of course, that streak last split. But are we about to see another era? Are you guys going to just 4 again? How many more titles are you going to take?
I think as much as I can. Like, I want to get everything. Like, spring, if we get a spring split 6 times in a row, it's gonna be a bit boring. So
right, let him have one.
Yeah,
let him have
one.
spring. Yeah, let him have spring, and then we come back in and win another 4.
I want to get I think since that, like, people start doubting about, like, are they actually good? So we have to prove we are actually good right now.
All right. Well, I believe you guys can do it. I'll wait for the proof. They'll come in this weekend. CoreJJ, once again, thank you so much for the interview, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All righty. With that, we're going to head ourselves back to the desk to break down that matchup. Once again, Core, congrats. Much deserved 2-time Honda MVP. CoreJJ, they're going to have to put up performances like he did during the summer regular season if they want to get through TSM today for that rematch against FlyQuest. One of the big factors in that FlyQuest loss was, of course, the support matchup. Ignar versus CoreJJ, with FlyQuest edging them out 3-2.
And the battle against TSM is not going to be an easy one, because just like FlyQuest, that they got the bracket buff of losing a lot of games and then just making sure that you play as many as possible. That's what happened to TSM. They lose to Golden Guardians and then run it down all the way back. So they got to just practice and hone in all of the things that they're good at, which is currently playing weak side bottom, carries in the solo lanes.
And it's been super impressive, you know, that run that you're talking about, because this is the first Worlds that TSM has made in 2 years, and it did not come easily, both in this part and in the regular season. They were hot and cold, up and down. Just as they started going on this little run towards the end of the season, they get 0-2'd at the last week, and then get destroyed by Golden Guardians in that first matchup. And so it's incredible, the resiliency from this roster, Doublelift as well, and all the other guys after a pretty problematic spring, even for the TSM members, you know, not being very impressive. To see them now at Worlds is super, super cool. I love that you call that out, Mark, because TSM, they did arrive at today's match after a grueling run through that lower bracket. And to give us a breakdown of their growth, our very own Kobe will combine his Sage League wisdom and love of the classics to illuminate one of TSM's greatest strengths heading into this match. This is Kobe's Art of War.
Hello, and welcome to Kobe's Art of War. Sun Tzu said, "Whoever is first to the field and awaits the coming of the enemy will be fresh for the fight. And whoever is second to the field and has to hasten to battle will arrive exhausted." And while you don't exactly get tired walking over to a team fight in League of Legends, there are great benefits to getting to an objective first and allowing you to control the battlefield in which the team fight will take place. I wanted to take a look back at a regular season game between Cloud9 and TSM in Week 8. We're going to examine how proper preparation for objectives and zoning can win a teamfight, especially if your opponents overchase. 22 minutes into the game, TSM user advantage in the 1v1 with Broken Braid's Aurelia to push in bottom while the rest of the team pushes mid 30 seconds before the arrival of the dragon. They then move into the river to control vision and lay down an intimidating line of Caitlyn traps. Caitlyn players max Yordle Snap Trap second, given the max rank by level 13, which Doublelift just hit. This grants him 5 maximum charges he can store up and quickly lay down across the river. With Caitlyn traps in front of them, a control ward behind them, the bottom minion wave pushing, and Broken Blade watching the jungle, TSM successfully controls the battlefield to reduce Cloud9's engage options. Cloud9 are now forced to eat some of the traps to open up a pathway if they want to contest the dragon. And in fact, that's exactly what they do. Blabber moves up, he eats a headshot for his troubles, and then uses an empowered Q plus smite to steal the dragon away, while Sven fires off an Ashe arrow. And here's where it gets interesting. Even though Cloud9 have stolen the dragon, it doesn't give a large power increase for the immediate fight. And given the fact that Kennen does not have flash, is still positioned behind the trap line, Cloud9 would actually be advised here to leave the river and be content with their dragon steal. This is where our second quote from The Art of War comes in. If your opponent is temperamental, seek to irritate him. Pretend to be weak, that he may grow arrogant. Which roughly translates to, just bait him, bro. At this moment, you may think Treats Morgana fails to Black Shield Doublelift. After all, Sven's Ashe Arrow stuns Doublelift, gives vision to Cloud9, and encourages them to engage on the AD carry. But if we rewind the footage and look frame by frame, Treat's hands are clearly still functioning. He does in fact make a choice to cast Redemption on Doublelift instead of the Black Shield, while the arrow is still in the air. This strategy is effective because Cloud9's carries are in very poor positions to follow up with damage on the engage. And with the combination of Redemption to heal up Volibear's R plus W physical damage, and a later Black Shield to mitigate the minimal magic damage from Volibear's E, Treats is easily able to deal with the initial threat on Doublelift. Now, even though Niski is the closest DPS to following up on Blabber's engage, he is on Azir, and it is dangerous for Azir to chase very long distances in teamfights, as he must use his Conquering Sands ability to move Sand Soldiers forward, thus leaving him without an escape tool and vulnerable. Meanwhile, Broken Blade stuns Kennen far back from the teamfight as he attempts to navigate through the traps. And even though he does not stun Sven, the attempt zones him away from the side of the river and into following Niski and Vulcan in their path behind Blabber, further grouping up the Cloud9 members. This is finally the moment TSM have been waiting for. Set's ultimate does 50% of the target's bonus health and AoE damage at rank 2, making Volibear, with all his extra health, the ideal target to dunk back into the rest of his team. But the river is 1,000 units wide, while the ult only has a diameter of 600 units and falls off in damage near the edges. So this is where we see the true value of TSM baiting in their opponents to funnel through the Caitlyn traps and around the Aurelia stun. Spica gets a massive 4-person ultimate. Because the grouped up members of Cloud9 don't immediately flash away from the incoming showstopper, they take the sweet spot damage, and Spica is also able to cast a follow Facebreaker just as he is pushed back by the Emperor's Divide, stunning Blabber, Niski, and Vulcan for follow-up AoE damage from Doublelift's Peacemaker and Bjergsen's wildcards. When Broken Blade's Aurelia ult comes through, they try to flash and scatter, but the damage has been done and it's too late. As TSM chase down the 2 flashless Cloud9 members inside the Dragon Pit, Bjergsen stuns and Treats exhausts the only remaining threat in Licorice's Kennen, allowing them to pick up their 3rd kill in the subsequent Baron. TSM go on to win this game, in which they demonstrate multiple times the power of early objective preparation, proper spacing in your teamfights, and tricking your opponents into overchasing.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but after that, I feel like I'm ready to go to war with Kobe's teachings there. I'm all prepared.
Hey,
I'm not.
No?
Japanese,
You're not, Martians?
And like Art of War is really applicable to League of Legends. I have for sure learned a lot about just transferring that knowledge to the game because that really was just preparation, right?
Should it be on the recommended reading list for all LCS pros?
I think so. I think it could go that far.
Maybe we should collate a list of books for LCS pros to read. Anyway, we're just minutes away from our championship qualifying series between Team Liquid and TSM. Well, that's a very important book. Both teams have had a long road to this matchup, with Team Liquid powering through a turbulent 2020 season to get here. Let's talk about it. That spring split finish.
Yeah, so if you remember Team Liquid from way back, this team used to be a meme that never won. They were always in 4th place, and it got so bad for the team that they actually had to hire Doublelift out of TSM to save them out of relegations. It was really doomed. Steve comes along, he's got a ton of money, buys out some of the best players that the money could buy. And
classic Steve.
Then this split is the worst split that they've had since Doublelift has left, but despite that, they found so much freaking success. Now with Tactical getting back in the lineup, their best finish in the regular season, and now they're hoping to reclaim that glory. But like your interview with CoreJJ, Dash, you felt like it might have been boring to win 6 titles.
My interview was boring?
No. Like you're in. CoreJJ said that he felt like 6 titles, so much winning would have gotten boring. That's what he said.
I was like, what a shot!
Yeah.
That
no, come on. I mean, never, no.
There's a lot more history as well to that, like, failure to pick up the 5th in a row in spring. You know, when you talk about what went down, it was pretty dramatic, all things considered. The team was underperforming. There were visa issues with Broxah. While they were struggling, Doublelift was pretty vocal on social media and stuff. Spring doesn't matter. There were arguments supposedly with his coaching staff. There's an interview that was pulled down. There were twit longers at the end of the split. You know, this was not a quote-unquote clean breakup necessarily. It hasn't been the worst one either. There was no Dunzo manifesto, but it was definitely one where there was different sides, different camps with different stories. And it's really cool to see that this breakup has been better for both sides. TL had their best regular season finish ever this split. TSM bounced back, made their first Worlds in 2 years. Like, this is such a cool narrative, and now they get to settle that kind of grudge after both reaching, you know, back to their heights. Now they actually get to go head-to-head.
I actually really love that point. It's not often that when we look at, you know, swaps or trades that we see both teams come out better for it. But I love calling that out. And then on the day, we'll figure out which one of these teams just got the slightly better part of that deal. It's not the only rivalry that's playing out here on the Rifto today, because we got Jensen, who's had plenty of smoke for his competitors.
Yeah, I mean, Jensen has been pretty vocal. A lot of it came after their last regular season matchup. It was the last week of the regular season. TL kind of slapped TSM down, who were on a bit of a heater. And so afterwards, he started mouthing off a little bit, feeling himself, talking about that. He also had an interview where he was saying it's insane to him how overhyped TSM is. And now here they are, a chance to settle that score with none other than the person that he's always getting compared against in Bjergsen. And once again, we're here. It's happening again. It's Jensen versus Bjergsen.
Yeah, I mean, this mid matchup is, I don't know how long it goes back. You guys can, tell me the dates, but this has always been like the top 2 mid laners in North America. They're almost always on the all pro ballots. I think last spring was the first time we talked about where they actually weren't the 1 and 2. And usually the discussion is like, which one's actually first? So this is a really fun kind of debate, because Jensen's actually evolved so much this split. He is playing a whole bunch of Azir, which we're all used to, but he's actually developed a lot more of a playmaking style, similar to how Bjergsen is like kind of capable of playing these jack-of-all-trades champions, being able to play the set and being able to play the Azir as well. So it's really fun to see both of these mid laners like continually upgrade, even though they're so high in their field.
Well, I think that highness and that rivalry got expanded on this split because of the regular season. When all this trash talk was going around, it really felt like those two were the best mid laners, the ones that were a cut above. Yet during playoffs, you cannot tell me that this Jensen is trash talking Bjergsen. Bjergsen has clearly shown to be a lot more capable and a lot more champions. I think Jensen is phenomenal, sure, but they have to pick the right champions for him. When he can perform on those control mages or maybe the Akali when he needs to, he's definitely a world-class mid laner. But to go as far as the champion pool of Bjergsen and trash talk a player that has done so much with that pool, I think is a little bit stretching your limits there, Jensen.
Okay, so to be fair, that was after the regular season, and then immediately afterwards, TSM lost to Golden Guardians in the playoffs, and since then, there hasn't been any trash talk, and they've gone on this insane run.
He's gone quiet, huh?
Good.
I think
that's fair.
You got to remember the context of the trash talk. It wasn't like last week he was saying this stuff.
No, he's thought a little bit better of it. I like the calls that you had there, Crumbs, around champion pool, the different strengths between these two players. Jensen, both players have shown their ability to carry. Bjergsen, though, slightly wider pool. Jensen generally indexing towards that mid to late game team fighters and carry champions. But while this may be our featured matchup, rather, it is not the only matchup that I do want to focus in on. Of course, we talked about the history with Doublelift between these two teams, but I want to talk about the matchup as well. Doublelift versus Tactical in the bot lane.
This is such a weird matchup to talk about where we're like, oh man, this is going to be pretty close because we're talking about Doublelift, like historically strongest AD, like most titles, and then rookie. And for some reason, this is actually a matchup where we're like, this could go either way. We don't really know. Like, so far, Tactical has played more champions, more meta champions. He's been playing the Caitlyn, he's pulled out the Jhin, and he has a lot more lane dominant style than Doublelift, who's known for these, like, Lucians by pocket pick, man. So the fact that these guys are going toe-to-toe is really exciting, and Doublelift actually is the one that needs to prove more today than Tactical.
I mean, I actually think it's cool that we have a rookie coming into this matchup like that because it is a testament to how well somebody could be having very little time within the game. League changes way too much so that somebody that is new can enter the game and still be completely up to date, whereas somebody that might have played for 10 years might actually still be holding on to ancient ways of approaching how the game continues to evolve. So I think that Tactical being a rookie could end up being a strength that he has that allows him to make those wild plays that no other player is thinking of right now.
Well, there's a specific wild play that sticks out in my mind, Mark. Let's rewind the tapes to last week where Tactical popped off.
Yeah, this was such an insane play. This is after FlyQuest just won a fight and was up 5 men to 3. Tactical is not fed. There's no ultimates up. Jensen does not have his ult when he decides to pick this fight. There's super creeps coming in the mid wave. And what usually happens there is FlyQuest just uses minion pressure to take the turrets, and Team Liquid players are going to focus on clearing the minion wave. That's usually what happens, but Tactical is like, no, that's not a good option. We're going to lose the game if we just focus on wave clear. So he fights PoE. He jumps in, and he keeps going forward. PoE sends that ball behind to expect that. He keeps dodging out in these skill shots. If any of them tag him, Kalista's attack speed and is linked to her move speed with the hopping. And so if she ever got CC, it'd be very easy to catch her and finish her off. But she dodges 4 consecutive skill shots, which allows him to hold his QSS to the last one and keep fighting. This keeps him in there long enough for Jensen's ult to actually come back off cooldown, and he can just keep going man mode, aggro, insane. And it was such a crazy play both in the decision-making to actually go for that instead of focusing on wave clear, which is what Jensen was doing. He actually double-bombed the minion wave. Tactical's like, nope, we're picking the fight and we're going to win it. And then he played it so mechanically well, it forced FlyQuest to peel off the turrets and have this panic collapse on top of him where he just keeps outplaying them. And then they're able to actually win the game because of that play.
I think man mode aggro insane might be the best way to explain that play there. I have a little bit of a tidbit to add on. In talking to CoreJJ for the Honda MVP interview, I did ask him off camera just to recount that play from his perspective because I wanted to understand how it all broke down. Basically, he said, hey, after losing a number of fights back to back to back, all of us sitting there maybe a little dejected, Tactical comes in over the top on comms and goes, guys, it's not working. I'm just going to go for it. So it was his own call. He wanted to make the play, and he saw it as the only way out. And I just want to highlight that again. It's a rookie we're talking about who felt empowered to make that decision. And I think that goes back to your point, Prawley, about why it's even a conversation between Doublelift and Tactical. Normally a rookie wouldn't be making a decision like that.
Oh, yeah. I have no clue what was going on in his mind other than, like, I guess the game's lost. So nothing's wrong if you already thought you were going to lose, right? Like, it's kind of like carte blanche. Like, do what you want because you're going to lose, so let's go for it. But I'm really happy that he kind of saw the advantage and took it. I was really expecting let's just, try to hold our turrets and hope they can't end it here. Like, that was not even in his thought process. He's like, yeah, let's go. Oriana, 1v1.
Hoping for some more pop-offs today. Probably, I want to come right back to you on the point about draft. We'll no doubt play an important part in this matchup, but I've got both you and Mark here to give us the 101 on what we expect to see from both of these teams heading into the series. Let's start with Team Liquid.
Yeah, so Team Liquid's draft strategy, I think you can start figuring it out when you watch their regular season games, but the most important draft strategy they have is make sure CoreJJ gets counterpick. I doubt they'll ever blind pick as champion unless maybe they're going with the Thresh Kalista, which is just such a strong bot lane. Other than that, they're always going to save counter pick for CoreJJ. I think it's really smart. They're also going to pair this up with a utility bot lane. We talked a bit more about Tactical's kind of champion pool. He's going to play like the Jhin, the Ashe, the Kalista, some kind of CC. And really what they want to do against TSM is they don't want anything to happen. If the game is 0-0 at 10 minutes, that's a great win for Team Liquid because they want to get to this front-to-back team fighting style that they're good at and get these long late-game team fights where they can actually like power spike around the 25-30 minute mark.
The thing that TL is going to have to worry about going against TSM is Broken Blade. Broken Blade's such a monster in the top lane that the strategy of TL early picking their top laner is going to come under a little bit of stress here with whatever Broken Blade has in his massive champ pool to try and counterpick. The other concern is jungle pinch potentially. We've seen a lot of champions out of Spica. Haven't seen that many out of Broxah, and we've seen a couple bans thrown against him that seem to hamper him in the Lee Sin and Graves. So we'll see if those two things can get exploited by TSM.
Well, those are the high-level ideas for Team Liquid. Let's flip the script and take a look at TSM now.
Yeah, so TSM, again, is like the TSM of old, where they used to just dive top lane, and I think that's a draft strategy they should be employing against Team Liquid. Team Liquid usually plays tanks top, so getting the counter pick for Broken Blade is going to be extremely important, and the fact that they're playing Bjergsen versus Jensen, Jensen's champion pool is fine, but it's mostly just control mages. So I think Bjergsen can actually blind pick the TF, he can blind pick the Azir, and this gives a lot more resources for the rest of the map to use, but most importantly, like Team Liquid's style of wanting to get to late game, TSM does not want to get to late game. Their mid game has been getting better, but it's mostly just them team fighting. So I think they want to start out scrappy. They want to get these fights, and I think their main goal is going to be in the game before 25, in the game before 30 minutes, because they don't want this like slow-paced TL style. They want to make this like a very bloody game, more akin to like maybe Europe or LPL.
Yeah, not much Drake stacking. They only have 3 souls in playoffs in 15 games, so they're much more about executing on the top side. Their concerns, of course, are more about 80 carries potentially being pinched. Like probably was saying, Tackle has what seems like a better pool so far. And then the other thing is high execution comps when you're going for these really aggressive playstyles. They've played a couple all-range matchups, or all-range comps, 5 range, no frontline really, and that's very volatile. It can work. They've won with these, but it is still scary going up against the team fight team where if you don't get this monstrous lead, like Team Liquid's going to have a better team comp 9 times out of 10 if you're going for this high, difficult draft strategy.
Well, that's a lot of high-level thoughts. You mentioned team comp right there at the end, Mark. I want to take a look at what would be a mock draft. Specifically, probably we're taking a look at the roles here. Where in the draft the roles will be selected, not necessarily the champions.
Yeah, so pick order is going to be really important. If you can see on the top bar, that's going to be TL's draft. I think their first 3 are always going to be 80 carry, jungle, mid. I think 80 carry first pick is a no-brainer for TL because they play more champions than TSM, so they can actually pinch the 80 carry pool, take that first pick. But if you look in the 4-5, you see the support and top laner. I think TL is going to take this every single time in 4-5. This gives them 2 bans to protect either the top lane or to set up a counter pick for CoreJJ.
Yeah, and I think it's...
Oh, go ahead, Mark. No,
I was going to say, it's really interesting what's going to happen because TL has a lot of things that they would normally first pick that you're a little scared about. Like normally they take their top laner early, but you might want to wait till after the second phase so you can pump a couple more bans up in there if you're busy banning out 80 carry pinch or something in the first phase. This can all change a lot, but with specific picks, but I think the overall idea of you seeing TL hold support for close to last and TSM holding top for close to last is going to be the root of both drafts.
I think what's interesting here, though, Mark, is the fact that this is a draft with TL on blue side, which was the expected pick coming into the day because of the win percentage of blue and their previous preferences, but they've in fact chosen red.
Yeah, it was a total shock to me. Probably and I did all this prep. We had all these specific draft points to make. This morning we wake up 9 o'clock. TL's on red side. And so it threw a lot of it out the window. But I think a lot of the principles that we hit here are still going to hold regardless of actual side.
Yeah. All righty. I do want to take a look at predictions as we get ready to throw it, just so I have you all on record with who you are predicting. So, Crumbs, who are you taking in this one, TSM, TL?
I'm going TSM Dash. I think. What? Woo! What the hell?
What happened?
Come on,
normally,
guys.
Crumbs is the only one who goes the opposite direction.
Yeah,
but all three of you
the underdog
align.
is TL. Crumbs, how do you not pick them?
Yeah, all right. Well, whatever.
Well, there it is. They're all aligned. They're all aligned. We're looking at TSM moving on to take on FlyQuest in the finals. With that, we're going to hand it over to Captain Flowers and Kobe. A belated happy birthday to you, my friend. I'm hoping for 5 games to celebrate. Take it away.
Every trophy has a story. It's not really about, is TSM's 7th trophy marginally better than what I already have? Because each time, I feel like more and more people want to see you fail. It's like just even more exciting each time to challenge yourself and defy people's expectations.
I live by the beat, I die by the beat since 1990. I by the beat like MPC. Who I name William after, cause I get bills from these beats. The industry, you know we keeping it real up in these streets.
It would be definitely like a dream come true. I'm playing this game for now 6 years, and winning a title is always what I wanted to achieve. I don't think anyone really remembers like, oh yeah, I got second place. Like no one really cares about that. I feel like I would celebrate for days.
I don't want to be remembered as one of the Team Liquid teams that ended up not having success. I want to be remembered as part of the Team Liquid team that started another LCS win streak.
Switch up the plan. We all say it, we all claim it, but it's no use. The greatest rapper alive is probably stacking produce.
To win another title would just be proof that I'm not washed. You can start to doubt yourself a lot when you're in teams that don't really click or where you have to compensate a lot for the other players, and I started to lose kind of focus on my own individual play.
Bjergsen's done. Oh, Bjergsen is going right back into the fight. This man does not stop.
It's pretty clear to me now that I am more than good enough to win the trophy.
You and me, rolling together in this perfect harmony.
I'll always put the win above pretty much anything else in my life. And I'd say the same about Bjergsen. For me, some of it is persistence.
And me, rolling together in this perfect harmony.
I was put in position to carry, and when I needed to pull the trigger, I just pulled the trigger.
Doublelift's heel barely keeps him alive.
Team Liquid and TSM has already won plenty of trophies in their past, but we've never actually had a trophy as an organization. So even though we're coming through the upper bracket, I wouldn't be surprised if people still think we're the underdogs going into the finals. I'm not sure if we'll ever be able to convince people that we're the best team in NA, but at least if we win NA, like we have the title.
These past years, Team Liquid has been the most successful organization in North America. I still believe that if we show up on the day, we can make it there. Really showcase what we're made of, showcase that we are, in fact, the best team in North America.
Snapping on the track like the illest conductor with no contradiction. I brought my heart to the table, fact and never fiction or fable. Ready and willing, you better believe that I'm able to spit power through these lines faster than fiber optic cable.
I honestly think the more fun for me is blocking other people from getting repeat trophies or more trophies, or kicking them out when it really matters, beating people when they want to win the very most. So I would really love to take out Team Liquid in this match.
I carried that team for 2 years, and it would be really, really satisfying to knock them out of playoffs. And I feel like if we can beat TL, we're definitely gonna roll over FlyQuest. So, one step at a time. I think that would be a pretty nice story.
Y'all better write this down. It don't matter. Cause 10 years from now, we on top, and we ain't never gonna stop. All money in. Watch.
Welcome, everyone, to this penultimate showdown of the 2020 Summer Playoffs here in the LCS. My name is Clayton Captain Flowers Reigns, once again joined by Mr. Sam Kobe Hartman Kinsler. He's still got the nice shirt. He's still got the tie, not the complete jacket today. And you know what? I'm glad, because I'm expecting this one to be a full-on banger. I think you are going to get yourself way too worked up and way too sweaty if you were wearing a full jacket, my friend.
I got way too hot last time. This one is for you, by the way. If you notice the pattern, it is flowers all over it. So I'm trying to simp for Mr. Captain Flowers in our series today.
Honored.
Honestly, though, I want to get right into picks and bans, because this is super intense for Team Liquid and TSM, as we've seen them kind of merge in playoffs. Something that I'm so surprised nobody has picked up on is that there are still 0 games of professional play for his entire career for Tactical. Yes, he is a new AD carry, but still 0 Senna games for his entire career is crazy with the current meta. Whether you like the champion or not, you like playing a more supportive, long-range CC oriented with heals AD carry, there's no denying that it's important in the current meta.
Well, the bans have already been resolved here in the first phase. It's Shen, Callista, Graves, Twisted Fate,
Caitlyn, and Lucian. So multiple marksmen banned away here in this first part of the draft, and TSM will immediately prioritize that Senna, whose importance you're highlighting.
Ashe. Okay, it's going to be probably Ashe here for Team Liquid. As the analyst desk was talking about, they'll generally save CoreJJ's pick for second round of picks and delay completing their entire bottom lane. But as we've whittled down pretty much all of the top 80 carries here, they will go with the Ashe for that CC, for the engage. And I would also expect Lee Sin pick pretty early on for Team Liquid, because those have been Broxah's main two champions. Lee Sin his most closely associated champion for them, and then rounding it out with some sort of top lane pick for Impact, expecting a top lane tank since Shen is banned out, maybe something like the Ornn, and there's the Lee Sin we're looking for.
Yep, it's almost like you're a professional analyst, man, predicting these coming in there with Broxah on the Lee Sin. Now, Spica will be on the Nidalee to challenge him there in the jungle. So powerful duelist, powerful carry champion in the jungle early on. Renekton picked up as the blind top laner here for TSM, and Team Liquid are thinking about Ornn as the response.
Yeah, what do you know? It's pretty easy to predict Team Liquid drafts. So let's go to TSM side. Renekton, Nidalee, again. This is a combination that they love. There are several teams in the LCS, 100 Thieves, Cloud9, TSM. These are the ones that most prolifically throughout scrims and stage games have gone to top lane, just absolute smashing combinations. Renekton, you W stun, set him up for an easy spear for the Nidalee, and this is going to be, again, TSM trying to win a big advantage on the top side of the map and use that to control earlier objectives.
And with both teams still needing a support pick, it's support bans coming here in the second half of the draft. Rakan banned away by Team Liquid. TSM taking the Thresh off of the table, trying to prevent both Biofrost and CoreJJ from being on these playmakers.
Yeah, definitely want to whittle down on that champion pool there for CoreJJ. TSM showing some respect, trying to get a couple of those out. And Biofrost, the Rakan ban is also no surprise. His Rakan got them right where they are today. Putting Biofrost back in, putting him on one of the only CC champions for the entire team comps in multiple games for TSM in their last series. Biofrost definitely stepped up, and he was huge for them with that champ.
Team Liquid's final ban of this draft will be LeBlanc, so wanting to pay a little bit of extra respect here over to Bjergsen. Only 2 bans aimed towards the mid lane here from Team Liquid, and we've seen Bjergsen absorb way more than that in the past, so at least the mid laner for TSM getting a little bit more breathing room here in this first draft. Morgana will be the final ban from TSM, once again looking towards its support role, and Team Liquid leaving that support pick for last, prioritizing CoreJJ above all else, will go ahead and pick up the Azir for Jensen in the mid lane.
Yeah, they almost always get CoreJJ counter pick into enemy AD carry, and oftentimes the entire bottom lane showing. Team Liquid, no surprise here, they're opening up this series with a very safe standard draft for them. This is the most closely associated strategy with Team Liquid. It is very, very tanky frontline with the Ornn, upgrading items later for a late game carry for Jensen. He's back on a ranged carry. We saw previously Team Liquid versus FlyQuest, where they tried a couple of different strategies. They had the dive comp, him on the Akali, but were unsuccessful in getting their victories with those other strategies, so they've gone right back to old standard. Meanwhile, TSM, here you go, Captain Flowers. It is Bjergsen's Syndra. There we go. Champion that got him over to the LCS, honestly. Got him so much in Europe.
So many games played on this throughout his career. One of his staple picks. We will also see Biofrost there on the Leona, so another powerful engage option with multiple layers of CC to combine to make sure they can lock down those valuable targets. And the last pick of the draft, the pick that Team Liquid saved to make sure they could see the entirety of the TSM composition, will be the Braum for CoreJJ. So not as much playmaking potential here, but does have a lot of defensive power for when Spica and Biofrost and Broken Blade try to dive in.
Yeah, we often describe Team Liquid as a team with their players, with their coaching staff, as trying to craft strategies to become a fortress, to become a stone wall. And what better champion than Braum to hold the door there, literally. They have one of the beefiest front lines, one of the beefiest, defensive tools here, Ornn plus Braum. When you combine those, not only can the opponents not use Braum to break away the ultimates, but you have a lot of CC to set up your later game carries.
Well, the bans are in, the picks are locked, and with champion select complete, let's load onto the Rift for game 1.
So far, TSM has outmaneuvered. No quick silver sack. He is down. What is he doing? 15 seconds left. TSM are going to end it. There's no way. Here we go. The game. TSM by Truth and them. This is Team Liquid. It's game number 1. It's the match to decide who gets to go on and play in the final tomorrow. And it's the team of the MVP versus the team of the next closest dude to getting the MVP. I saw a lot of angry TSM fans in the comments when CoreJJ was announced as the MVP, saying Bjergsen got robbed, saying it should have gone over to TSM, and I think that this series today will be a fun opportunity for both of these players to really shine.
Flowers, whichever way it goes, this series has so much fun trash talk. There's almost too many places to start here because you mentioned fans, and their concerns about TSM and Bjergsen. Jensen himself has voiced concerns about Bjergsen being overrated by people, and it is going to come to a 5-game culmination here in this series. Can Team Liquid, can Jensen prove their point and take down Bjergsen on his most iconic champion, the Syndra? We'll definitely have to see. As far as the jungle routes and their interventions on the mid lane setup, it is bottom side start for both of them. This is expected for a Nidalee Renekton combination because we talked about it in Champ Select. Nidalee Renekton, it's one of these prize combinations that initially a lot of our teams picked up from the LPL teams that were running a lot of super high priority on top side and on early game compositions. And TSM has been one of our teams that have successfully used this combination already. Spica, very good Nidalee, will like to get a pretty full clear, power clear up to the top side because Nidalee can clear so quickly. You want to get your levels in. And then when Renekton, you can tell if they're going to go for it if he tries to slowly stack a wave to get one or a couple waves stacked up and then go for the stun into spear onto the Ornn for a big punish so you can actually push in and deny experience. But that will be an early indicator for Impact to also try and play more defensively.
Right, gotta really respect the power of those two champions early on here in this game. Bjergsen and Jensen both on picks that will have a lot to say here as we move forward in this game. Bjergsen on that Syndra has done so much work for his team, and Impact is now in a pretty bad spot against Broken Blade, who gets aggressive against him here, finding that level 3 before Impact has his. Means you've got the extra ability, and the trade is pretty much guaranteed to be in your favor.
Yeah, there's blood in the water, Flowers, and that attracts junglers. This is a defensive ward from Impact we're talking about. You can tell, Broken Blade, he's just saving rage, only last hitting right now, building up that wave that we talked about. Spica gets hit.
Well, Spica and Broxah are already into a jungler 1v1 out here, but the problem for Team Liquid is the fact that Broken Blade will be stronger if this turns into a 2v2. Broken Blade does have that wave shoved all the way up. Impact has to answer that underneath the turret as Biofrost goes into the bottom lane, and Tactical is in a lot of trouble, tries to get away. But first blood in the series goes to Doublelift.
Biofrost and Doublelift, and they're not even done. They're still giving CoreJJ some more damage under the tower. They can push this in, and even with the speed boost out of base with the early kill, Tactical is going to have a hard time getting there in time to get the experience from this minion wave. So that is a very, very detrimental death to the Team Liquid bottom lane. Tactical losing out on about 5 minions worth of experience in addition to the extra gold for first blood, going over to Doublelift, whose Senna has become, it has gone from a meme from when they first started using it with his attempts on the meta shift into an undefeated playoff champion for TSM.
Pretty incredible transformation there for Doublelift Senna, and things are going phenomenally for TSM in these side lanes early on in this game. Broken Blade winning against the Ornn early on, as you would expect. Doublelift and Biofrost showing that aggression in the 2v2 that gets them that first blood. And I want to see Broxah get involved now because he's on this champion that is supposed to succeed early, that is supposed to have an impact early on in the game. And he has 2 different lanes that are going to be calling for his help. But topside, it's Broken Blade calling in the backup as Impact tries to get away, but the spear finds its mark, and TSM will pick up kill number 2. Look at all those minions that are bleeding away from Impact.
Yeah, even with the flash coming through and him dodging out on the initial combination, Spica still can jump forward for it.
Not a lot going on here bottom side. Saw a little bit of a trade back and forth, but honestly, Biofrost is so tanky there on that Leona. It's not really much to write home about. Tactical and CoreJJ in this 2v2. We got to see Tactical pop off on the Callista last week to keep hope alive for Team Liquid in their series against FlyQuest. Of course, they did ultimately fall in that series, but it was Tactical that brought it to a Game 5, so we've seen his potential. We've seen the carry power that the newest member of this Team Liquid roster has, but getting first-blooded here by Doublelift, first-blooded by the dude he ended up replacing. Pretty exciting there for TSM. Maybe a little concerning for Team Liquid. You heard Doublelift talking in the video before the games kicked off today, saying he carried this team for 2 years. So it's obvious who he thinks was responsible for all that success.
Yeah, the trash talk definitely spicy. I think your point about Tactical is really good, though, because especially for a rookie, he has been so good for Team Liquid, and this would be his first LCS Finals appearance if Team Liquid could take this series. So there's definitely a lot weighing on this. He's done so well already in his rookie split, but he would love to crown it and top it off with an appearance in Finals.
Jensen finding some damage onto Bjergsen here in the mid lane now as well. Teleports have recently been used by both of these mid laners, so remember, whatever damage they land is going to stick and at least force a back that will have a pretty severe impact on their experience and gold comparisons from having to miss a couple of waves with no TP being available. So Jensen taking these aggressive choices here could put Bjergsen in a bad place. But Spica goes after the crab, gets his level 6 here on the Nidalee, and with Biofrost nearby, these two now will go after that Drake as a duo. There is a ward in the pit, excuse me, to see exactly what's going on here for Team Liquid. CoreJJ and Tactical are moving over, but the Drake is so low. Spica and Biofrost should be able to grab this one before TL makes their way over here. Biofrost with the flash over the wall. Drake for a summoner spell. You'll take that one for TSM.
Yeah, especially considering the composition TSM are running. We've mentioned multiple times that you can see some of the LPL influences on the drafts that TSM have been going for. Not only the Renekton Nidalee, but also Leona, a favorite of that league because of the hard engage possibilities. And with TSM using the Leona engage already effectively to get their first blood, the Dragon on top of it is where you want to snowball. You've got an early lead for the TSM side. They do have more early game oriented champions that want to try and pressure that and continue to stack those dragons up, working towards the soul, because they don't want to wait for this time bomb that is the Team Liquid 5-on-5 to become fully assembled. Once you get your juggernaut of Ornn items handed out to Azir and Ashe, and you've got your fully set up team fight with Ashe, Arrow, Braum, and Ornn engages plus defensive capabilities, that is where it becomes difficult for TSM. But where they shine is right now in the early game.
Bjergsen completely out of mana here in the mid lane. Fortunately for him, Spica is over onto the blue and will be able to hand that one off to continue to provide Bjergsen with some lane presence here. Back up in the top side, you can see Broken Blade and Impact's lane pretty much in the same state we left it the last time we checked on them. Small CS lead here for Broken Blade. Impact, of course, being able to itemize armor, going for that Sunfire Cape. The typical Ornn strategy of Sunfire Cape into Abyssal Mask and then upgrade them both for extreme value isn't going to change this game. Impact throws out the Volcanic Fissure there, but doesn't bonk his head into it, so not quite as much damage as you would expect. But hey, he gets away without getting beat up by the Croc. It's all right.
It actually is kind of hilarious that your main combo for a champion is to just ram your head into a wall that you've created. Here we go. Might be a fight over the Rift Herald, though. Impact does have the Ornn ult.
That was a long-range arrow coming in there, and the Herald is stolen away by Broxah, but Team Liquid have to get themselves out. They're in a 2 versus 3. Jensen's coming over now to provide a little bit of backup. TSM will not be able to find a kill, and now CoreJJ and Tactical have also joined the fray. Spica wants to get out, but there's no way home, and that is money in the pockets of Team Liquid. Tactical picking up their first kill of this game, and Broxah with that steal onto the Rift Herald, that's picked up by CoreJJ.
Money in the bank. Rift Herald ain't easy, Captain Flowers. TSM just get it taken away right out of their hands by Broxah, and this is that caution we were laying down. If you give over early mistakes to this Team Liquid composition, early gold, this is going to fund their war efforts for the late game. Picking up the Rift Herald is turret plates. That's guaranteed cash as well on top of this. And with the lane swap here, CoreJJ has it in his hands, which is slightly less than ideal because it guarantees he'll get some of the money from the turret plates and he can't fully give the money over. But it also means that he's probably going to activate it there with Tactical around in one of the lanes, so sharing it with the AD carry. And the kill going over to Team Liquid. While it does not make up the entire gold difference and TSM are still in a power position, this is what the Team Liquid fans really want to see in the early stages. It's trying to steal away little things. And look at how low this gets. Spica does hit the eyeball, and it's very, very difficult to actually know and calculate the damage your eyeball true damage is going to do. So you have to combo your damage right when you hit it. And just... what was that, like 58, I think I saw?
44. It ticked down to 44.
Yeah, where Broxah is able to steal it away, and then with Tactical coming up, they also get the kill on Spica. That's kind of a dream scenario for them in the early stages.
Sometimes it's those little differences that make the biggest impact in the game. Top side there, you can see the items displaying on your screen. Blade of the Ruined King, completed for the Renekton, is a big power spike in that 1v1 situation. Of course, Impact now completing his Sunfire Cape will have some defensive power against that one. Bjergsen goes away from that Shurima shuffle attempt there in the mid lane from Jensen, using the flash to stay safe from the ulti. With Broxah nearby, surely would have been death for him if he did not get out of that one.
Yep, he recognized it and is a good move by Jensen, because Jensen will take the ultimate cooldown for flash trade any day of the week. Now Bjergsen has to be very careful about his positioning on this Syndra. And they might have to get some more vision around there as well. You see already a collapsed mid lane from Broken Blade. All of TSM rallying around Bjergsen to help him push that wave out after his flash was blown, because they know he's in a very, very dangerous spot if they don't help him deal with it. So Broken Blade and Spica both clearing out the side control wards there to get him some extra vision, but Team Liquid just, they're taking that early momentum of the top fight at Rift Herald and pushing it home.
And exactly how you want to see the Rift Herald used as well, making sure they got a couple of the plates down before summoning it up. But TL are now in some trouble. It's Bjergsen coming in with the TP, and Tactical surely going to fall here. The damage comes through, and Bjergsen takes the money. TSM looking to make it a twofer, as CoreJJ will fall to Spica, and Team Liquid sends in the reinforcements, but they only arrive to see the corpses of their allies. 2-for-0 TSM in the top lane.
And I've got a side story for you, Flowers. Down on the bottom side, Broken Blade dove the tower. I was watching the minimap. I could see the little icon for Renekton going deep to stop Impact's teleport, and he does complete his mission. Well done, soldier. He stopped the teleport, but it came at the cost of his own life by diving into that tower versus Impact. And so Impact gets the kill, the solo kill onto Broken Blade for the cost of the teleport interruption. Top side though, it is the early move from TSM. They teleport first, Bjergsen is up there, he gets the Q onto Tactical, gets the stun onto Tactical, immediately killed off there with the burst damage, and then they easily pick up CoreJJ as well. And in a little bit of hindsight, you can say, okay, yeah, you know, they picked up so many of these. Maybe it was pretty risky here going for this one, but Broken Blade, he sees it, he's going for it. I'm all in. He uses his ult for the extra health. Slice and Dice is in there. With the tower shot, though, Impact's able to clean him up, as you know. And no surprises in the extra information.
Yep. A lot of damage coming out from that Wombo combo from the Ornn. You can get the back-to-back brittle procs like that. That'll put some more money in Impact's pockets. Give him some more EXP, too. Remember, as soon as he hits level 13, that's when the items can be upgraded. And then 14 through 17, he'll be giving those gifts over to his friends, making sure everybody else is popping off, too. Side of your screen right there, 26 Senna stacks for Doublelift. Remember that as many of those as he can get is the goal here, as he wants to be extending that range advantage, making it so he can get every huge auto attacks as the game moves forward. So currently on the first one of those range bonuses, 14 more until he gets the second.
Yep, every 20 you get an extra 25 bonus range, and the first like 3 or 4 of them, that's where you really start to feel the big range increase, and you can get those unanswered exchanges on opponents. But man, Team Liquid have actually caught up in gold versus TSM with all of this early power that has gone over, and the early tower as a result of the Rift Herald steal and the extra damage they got with the true damage from Rift Herald charge allows that first turret bonus for Team Liquid.
Okay.
Oh, it's
Bottom
happening!
Side, Impact and Broken Blade here in a 1v1. Broken Blade, however, receiving the Dawning Shadow from Doublelift is enough to make Impact back away, but Renekton losing out in the 1v1 early on there. Impact nearly able to find himself another solo kill here, this time without his opponent having to interrupt the teleport. As back in the mid lane, it's once again going to be a contest of multiple parties. Tactical and CoreJJ continuing to push up the wave, set down a little bit of vision here. Next, Drake isn't going to be alive for 4 minutes, so not much of a reason for everybody to be on the bottom half of the map. Instead, this Rift Herald is the name of the game. Remember, it was TL that stole it away from TSM the first time around. TSM contemplating whether or not they want to contest up here for the second when they do have a ward in the area to let them know exactly what's going on, but the choice is to walk away.
I can't help but feel if the communication maybe was a little bit crisper for TSM with that Senna ultimate, that Broken Blade could have stayed in the fight maybe and baited it a little bit harder with Impact to actually get a surprise kill with a surprise Senna ultimate coming down, because as we watched just the tail end of that fight, Broken Blade looked like he was pretty worried and was making distance from the Ornn as Impact was kind of leading. And it was definitely on a knife's edge there. So maybe a little bit more coordination would have resulted in a different outcome, but they do end up getting the turret there. Broken Blade pushes it down, and he's now level 11 on that Renekton. Remember, versus tanks like Ornn, you want to go Conqueror as he has. So with his Blade of the Ruined King and approaching Black Cleaver, he will be well set up to try and shred through the Ornn and should be making up some of that distance. Of course, if the Senna combinations are a little bit more timely in the future, that can also really turn the tides.
All right, well, as we're tied up at 1 turret for each team here, and we're just now cresting the 17-minute mark, Team Liquid is going to look to change that up once more, secure themselves another advantage. Rift Herald sum it up in mid lane, And as much as TSM wants to try to clear these waves away and keep that turret alive, it's just not going to happen. 2 different Rift Heralds for the side of Team Liquid. Plenty of success with both of those being used there. Good stop from TSM, making sure they can kill Shelly before she gets the charge off onto the tier 2.
So I've heard Shelly is the agreed upon name for the first Rift Herald. Does the second one have a different name? Because I've heard people have attempts and suggestions.
Oh, I thought they were both Shellys.
Okay. Well, it's got to be like Shelly and Shelly's sister then, because I feel like
their sister.
There's not like a return of Shelly. She just respawns again. Maybe she's got this cycle of returning into an eyeball.
I mean, everybody else in League of Legends dies and come back. Why can't Shelly do it? Think of the Rift Herald pit like Shelly's Fountain. She just has a 4-minute respawn timer.
I'm sold.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
Her
actually
screen's black and white for 4 minutes, and then she comes back.
Fair enough. Top side here for TSM. Looks like they are sending Spica to help out Bjergsen in trying to trade on the side wave here. They did get the bottom one, so opening up both side lanes for TSM. Definitely going to be a big improvement in the map state for them. Give them that extra gold, and they still have the 2 dragons that we were talking about stacking. So if you're looking 1 minute ahead of time, as we were talking about in the Art of War, preparation on these objectives is huge, and TSM taking the top turret a full minute ahead of time will be able to get there. I have to say, though, with the gains that Team Liquid have been making, they do have multiple control wards here for Broxah and for CoreJJ. If they call down Jensen and Broxah right now, they can try and get the Fog of War advantage, and that is a huge bonus for Ashe, who likes to fire off the Ashe arrows from out of Fog of War, giving your opponents less opportunities to dodge them.
You can see Team Liquid players migrating south for the Dragon fight right now. 20 seconds left to go. Red buff has just been picked up by Doublelift for the side of TSM. TL does have control over this bottom side river. Ward placed over the wall by TSM. That one is disabled by a control ward right now. And TL are doing their due diligence, getting rid of this vision from TSM as they wait for this dragon to spawn. There you go. Now it's alive. Jensen going to go ahead and take care of the last remaining remnants of this minion wave. Bjergsen goes for a scat of the week, but will not find Jensen with it. And a little bit more damage will clear those minions out for both sides. Broken Blade is here on the flank. Impact charging into the brush, just expecting that that might be the case. CoreJJ getting stunned up now as Biofrost ends up getting swept away by Jensen, but Jensen nearly going to be killed off now. Biofrost first casualty of the fight. Nice kick coming through from Broxah. And Doublelift is gone, but so is Jensen. TSM is on the assault, and Tactical is kiting away from Broken Blade. He turns his attention over onto Impact, who will be able to stand tall for now. Spica's off to the side, but Bjergsen's still alive, means TL has to head for the hills. TSM still has control over this bottom side river, but remember that both junglers are alive. There is smite fight contention possibilities here. Bjergsen looking to keep Broxah away. TP also going to be coming in now. Tactical stepping forward with a focus fire, but now he's killed away. There he is! Bjergsen with the kill on the Team Liquid AD carry will secure the 3rd Drake for TSM.
Bjergsen 1v3 holds off Team Liquid and just unleashes on Tactical there. Finishes off the extra damage with the Scatter of the Week as well to finish the kill and get the all-important Dragon number 3 for TSM, setting themselves up for Ocean Soul Point. That was such a critical moment in this game, Flowers. Considering the team comps, that was definitely a breaking point. Let's look at it again. The big news is Biofrost onto Jensen. The Leona combination allows Doublelift to get a huge chunk. Then Doublelift flashes away after he gets knocked up from the Ornn ultimate, and he's able to channel his ultimate as he's dying to snipe Jensen. Doublelift killing Jensen there is the whole reason TSM are able to get to this position around Dragon and allow Bjergsen to make that big play. Broxah even went for the kickback onto Doublelift, but since Doublelift had already started channeling his ultimate, had the animation off, it still went off and killed him. And here's another look at the kill onto Tactical. Bjergsen had saved his Syndra ultimate for this moment, and I don't think Team Liquid were calculating for that.
You can see it in the stats, 3,726 damage, 10 times the damage that his counterpart put out in that fight. Because Jensen was so low and so isolated in that, all he did was use his ult on Biofrost. That was it. Aside from that, his impact in the fight was essentially nothing. And Bjergsen just outperforming him in that fight was the difference maker. And now, Kobe, I want to pose you a question, because you said at the beginning of the game the TSM comp had to be more active. Team Liquid has this incredible scaling with Ornn items and Ashe and Azir. We're 22 minutes in. TSM is on Soul Point, but they're 1,000 gold ahead now as Ornn is starting to be able to gift these items over to his teammates. Did TSM accomplish their goal? Did they have a good enough early game?
I do like their spot because they do have the 2-item breakpoints for all of their champions, and it's only just over 2.5 minutes right now left on it. You can see they've got the split push advantage here. Broken Blade with his Cleaver Bork combination can continuously push that side wave in against Impact, even though Impact has gotten to upgrading his own items already and looking to start handing out the upgrades for his teammates. The real big pressure point is going to be the setup for this Ocean Soul. So you have to keep your eyes on where they spend their resources of these control wards. Broxah going to have to slip out of the Raptor pit as quickly as he went in there because the Leona, once again, a key part of TSM, locking down people.
Tactical nearly killed off, and nearly's not even going to do it. Broken Blade coming in from the flank, and Team Liquid has to run the hell out of town. 2 already dead, and TSM are not going to be stopping anytime soon. Broken Blade enraged with the dominance on the front lines as Impact and CoreJJ have to fall all the way back behind the tier 2. Jensen with the Sand Soldiers over the wall, but he's still got to be respecting the long-range artillery of Bjergsen Syndra.
TSM and aggressive play have really come together, Flowers. It's taken a whole split for them to get to this point to be able to execute these, but once they have, it really has started to look so much better for this squad. And this is against Team Liquid, one of the best defense playing teams in the LCS. In fact, the best defensive team in the LCS. Once again, Biofrost making so many plays for the team. I have to say, in the previous series on his recon every single game, he just doesn't miss a beat switching over to Leona here. Landing the combinations, again in the key Dragon fight last time where he locked up Jensen. He's definitely been a big addition back onto the roster after getting benched, where sometimes getting benched mid-season like that can really destroy people's mentalities, and you never see a full recovery back on stage, but he's really done it.
Yeah, it catalyzed him to be better. When those sort of situations happen, you either see the players sort of fall into academy purgatory where they never fully recover and become LCS ready again, or you see it really motivate them and light a fire under them to get back in there and really fix those problems, get better, and prove that they deserve that spot on the starting roster. Biofrost now with that Gargoyle Stone Plate means he will be able to dive in with impunity, so I expect to see some big old Chad Leona plays coming out of him in these upcoming fights. Speaking of which, the next one here in 15 seconds is for an Ocean Soul for TSM. TL must respect this. The game becomes so much more difficult if TSM can acquire this soul for themselves. Broken Blade is
flanking right now on Renekton.
Broken Blade has done a great job so far, always being in on these flanks. There comes your Leona ulti, able to find Jensen. Bjergsen's going to grab the killing spree, now having to run himself away. Impact looking to grab the damage, and it'll shut Bjergsen down. Now Tactical's going to be dealing with Broken Blade in the back end of the fight as Spica tries to keep himself alive here too. Impact going to be taken low, Broken Blade going to be taken low. Impact going to be getting himself barely out, and so will Broken Blade. Somehow both top laners still going to be kept alive, and Biofrost is out of the picture. Health bars are dangerously low for both sides. Team Liquid, with more men still left on the map, will take the victory in the fight, but TSM have control over the path to the Drake. This is the soul, this is the prize, this is the reason anybody ever fought there in the mid lane, and Broken Blade is leading the charge. Broxah, Tactical, and Team Liquid must fight for this. The Drake down below 3,000 HP. Broxah with the Sonic Wave, looking to go in, looking to steal it, won't be able to do it. Spica secures Ocean Soul for TSM. Broken
Team
Blade
Liquid
now
looking to pick up kills.
Jensen trying to grab it. He's got the kill into Broken Blade. Spica out of the picture too. Means Team Liquid has 5 on the map, 3 for TSM. Baron will be the call.
Yep, Ocean Soul does go over to TSM, but Team Liquid, what can they do with this extra gold influx? There are 3 members of TSM trying to stop this Baron, trying to delay it. There's no teleport on Broken Blade, even if he revives. So this is a straight up real 3v5 situation for TSM, and Team Liquid looks like they can burn the Baron down.
Doublelift and Bjergsen do have range for this. Biofrost trying to go in there, use the ulti. Doublelift thrown up into the air. Jensen coming in with the soldiers. They won't chase it any further. Team Liquid deciding to take their victory here at the Baron. They take the free kill onto Doublelift as well, and they respond in the best way they can to their opponents getting the Ocean Soul. Now it's about this next 2 minutes and 45 seconds, Kobe.
What an exciting trail of plays. That was a really long fight in mid, which resulted in many low health bars. But because Impact has teleport, he comes back in full health Ornn. Combination here by TSM to burst down the dragon is good. Broken Blade goes top though, and Jensen's teleport, or goes to escape through the top side, and Jensen's teleport with the extra speed means he chases him down and gets the resulting Baron for Team Liquid. So really, the big takeaway is, can Team Liquid quickly build some executioners so that they can cut healing of Ocean Soul and make use of the extra gold that they get off of killing Baron and trying to push here to make the comeback, to make that scaling game work. They've already got multiple upgraded Ornn items, but here comes the fight.
Broken Blade looking for the initiation here on the side of TL. Damage going through, Tactical going down. Impact in the middle of 5, but with Tactical already in the picture, does Team Liquid even have the damage to continue this fight? I'm going to wager no, as Jensen will try to use the ulti to get himself away. Doublelift grabs the kill, and the rest of TSM is on the chase. Team Liquid's Baron is utterly destroyed. CoreJJ will try to run away with 200 health. Impact tries to draw the attention elsewhere. Doublelift gets the kill into CoreJJ. He's not going anywhere. And with Impact in a 1v3, he will return to that fountain, like it or not. Shut down there for Broken Blade. One man left standing wearing purple on the side of Team Liquid. They rented all those nice jackets. They were dressed up, and then they ruined all of them except for one.
Yeah, TSM have been so good at assassinating the carries of Team Liquid. Despite this beefy front line, Ornn, Braum, some of the hardest champions to get past, with a Lee Sin kickback as there as well. TSM have been flashing forward. Bjergsen did it on the Syndra. They've had Leona engages, Doublelift constantly ulting over the top with the Senna to finish off critical damage on these Team Liquid carries. And TSM have been basically surgically removing the carries of Team Liquid at the beginning of these fights. Broken Blade, you see on the screen, rotating up with a flank on the Renekton once again. Even though Tactical was able to get away from him, Biofrost lands the snare, and they just full CC Tactical down to 0 before Team Liquid even get everyone in place. Then Jensen tries to do his best, but Biofrost, used the Leona ultimate on him, and it was 5v4 that situation. Broxah didn't lay a hand on anyone. You see that Lee Sin in the brush there? He came up from bottom lane. He actually didn't touch anyone in this team fight. TSM were just too quick, better coordinated. They jump on them with the numbers advantage, and they just rip away the chance at Team Liquid trying to scale with the Baron money, with all the extra cash. And this Ocean Soul for TSM should bolster them to the point where they can try and push on the Team Liquid defenses now.
Well done from TSM, jumping on TL when they weren't ready, picking a situation that Broxah wasn't being able to get involved in, and now Team Liquid without that Baron. The time is over. Baron is a temporary buff, and now those times have passed. TSM still have that Ocean Soul for the rest of the game. They still have a 3,000 gold lead. Now, some of that gold is being made up, a lot of it actually, by the fact that Impact does have the extra gold value of those Ornn items for his team. Just between the 2 items on himself, that's about 3,000 gold's worth of value. And now we've got Death Crown, we've got whatever Blade of the Ruined King Part 2 Electric Boogaloo is called, and we've got the Black Cleaver upgraded as well. Death's Dance just now being completed for Tactical. So that means everybody on the side of TL, except CoreJJ's Braum, has the upgraded Ornn item ready. So this gold difference really isn't there the way it looks like. TL trying to be careful and mindful of these engages, of these flanks. Broken Blade has been very adept at working his way around TL this game. The Ornn Ram just kind of ran away, so that's unfortunate. Jensen summoning up a turret here on the ruins of the tier 1 of the TSM mid lane turret. Tactical shoots an arrow, and that one's going to whiff as well. TSM, having seen so many ultis fired off by TL, not nearly as worried about the potential of their engage now, as Impact will frontline here against the damage of Broken Blade and Spica. Fight is breaking out. Nice ulti coming in there from Biofrost to start things, but now he has to flash away because he's in some serious trouble. Going to be getting the heal there from Doublelift. Impact eating up some of the honey fruits to keep himself topped off on HP. Turret does self-destruct there in the mid lane. Spica takes some damage, but the Elder Drake is spawning in 10 seconds. TSM have priority over the river. Broxah over the wall, looking for the chance to potentially engage here with a big kick. He has the flash. We've seen Lee Sin's change games and define fights from positions like this before. CoreJJ at 40% HP. The Braum must be so careful. Even a half-second misexecution here is death. Speaking of which, Bjergsen just said, see you later. Broxah into the Guardian Angel already, having to get himself away. Dawning Shadow coming through. Broken Blade looking for you. Grabbing the killing spree on to Broxah, and Team Liquid's in a 4v5. TSM chasing them away. But remember that TL aren't even the main picture here. TSM is looking for the Elder Drake. Impact goes for an initiation yet again, and the Ram will once more never find the target. CoreJJ taken out by Spica as Tax deletes the railgun from Doublelift, and TL only has 2 men left alive. Did I say 2? Oh my goodness, it was almost 1. Jensen has to get himself out of there, 200 HP remaining. Broken Blade wants to go for it. A little bit of damage. Game over, he said. His body teleported back. They flew him home to be buried.
Oh my God, Team Liquid can't hit a skill shot to save their lives, Captain Flowers. The engage is over and over, whiff after whiff, and TSM punished them hard. Bjergsen popped Broxah like a balloon there with the Syndra, and now TSM, they're gonna take everything on the freaking map.
What a disaster for Team Liquid as they manage to get themselves in a situation where their opponents are able to take both of the Uber buffs at once. It'll be Baron and Elder Drake here for the side of TSM on top of an Ocean Soul, on top of a gold lead. TSM should be able to win the game very swiftly from this position.
Yeah, you can say that one again. Let's see there. Sticking around here on the Baron too.
Very swiftly.
Yeah, unless Broxah randomly went over there and pull some hero play to steal away another, get a Baron here for Team Liquid. Yeah, there's not going to be an easy response here for the TL squad. They've got level deficits on pretty much everybody in all positions here. Even with the Ornn upgraded items, they're still missing slots. TSM have got a tremendous advantage here with Ocean Soul, Baron, and Elder Dragon. They've got the trifecta to try and push in on the base. Bottom side is also dead already with the super minions swarming into the Team Liquid base. Team Liquid have to have crazy rally caps on right now to get a solid engage. You need Ashe Arrow into Ornn ultimate on one of the carries. You have to hit Doublelift, you have to hit Bjergsen, take him out at the beginning of the fight, or else TSM have shown they are going to destroy you.
Well, here comes the CC on the Jensen. Elder Dragon says, see you later. Bjergsen had the ulti already in the air, just in case the Elder Dragon was asleep at the wheel. And now with one of the carries of TL out of the picture, TSM are on to the Nexus turrets. First one already down. Impact going in, looking to save the day. They got to go in. It's now or never. Looks like it's going to be never. Spica grabs the kill into Impact. Broxah looks to make the kick. Won't make it stick. Doublelift on a killing spree. Double kill for him. CoreJJ, last man standing. A little bit more damage comes through. Broken Blade walks away. He'll die at the very last minute, but it does not matter. TSM, they execute better, and they take game 1.
It had been 511 days since TSM took a single game off of Team Liquid. It has been 531 days since TSM have won a series versus Team Liquid. And they are starting this series off very well for themselves. First game over to TSM, successfully executing on their comp. They went for the Renekton Nidalee play that we called for. The actually unexpected 2v2 kill down bottom. Biofrost engaging, Doublelift getting the kill there with the Senna for himself and playing the Senna really well in these team fights. It's just a really big ramp up for TSM. This series is already starting to encapsulate the growth that we've seen from this squad over the years.
And as the sun sets on game number 1, it's time for us to step away. Once we're back, the State Farm Analyst Desk will break down the win.
Your Honda MVP,
Dreams aren't achieved overnight. They take passion. Dedication. And even then, there are no guarantees. But for the LCS, that's the power of dreams. Go back! It means you never give up. It means you always play again. Honda, proud automotive partner of the LCS.
Welcome back to the LCS, where TSM has taken the first win in the series. It was the prediction from all three of you that TSM would take this series. And gents, we were not happy with side selection coming into game one out of Team Liquid. After taking the loss, I have a feeling our fears have been confirmed here with Team Liquid. Let's break it down, the draft.
Crumbs, you want to go first?
Yeah. So, I mean, well, I saw that you guys had the little side thing. Yeah, we know that the size, but I felt like TSM really got what they wanted, but I wanted to give these guys their platform because they were the ones that were talking about all this intricate order of champions.
Okay, so to break this down, this was what our mock draft was, and the important thing is the order of champions that you're taking, like Crumbs is saying. And we thought TL was going to pick blue side because you can do this pinch in the bot lane where you're forcing them to ban Caitlyn on one side, you ban Ashe, and Senna on the other. And then what does Doublelift play from there? Because you can first pick the Kalista. You have all these options available. Is that going to force him onto Jhin? And by not doing that, you totally throw the draft out of order. And then you can't even, you don't, like on red side, which TL picked, they don't even have good counter picks for top lane. So I was so baffled at what they thought they were going to get on red side.
Yes, probably.
Yeah, thanks for calling on me. I had my hand raised. But yeah, I mean, this is just a really crazy draft because, yeah, the 80 carry pinch is a real thing. And I don't believe me and Mark are so next level that we're the only ones who could see this. And then TSM is actually showed. All right, Crumbs, you're up next. Crumbs showed, or TSM showed they banned Kalista. So if you put TSM on red side, they're going to ban Kalista and Caitlyn, and you pick the Ashe or the Senna, and you ban one, and TSM is just in such a terrible spot bot. And TL plays a two-threat comp, right? Mid and bot lane. So if you can't get your advantage in bot, your top is going to get his head caved in because, you know, TSM just plays hard top side. So you got to make sure your draft gives you a strong bot lane, not this, you know, Ashe Senna trade, and then you take Braum. Like
5th pick Braum, baby. We used red side real good. We gave up Senna first pick. They're bread and butter champ.
I mean, not just the bread and butter Senna, but the Nidalee for Spica, I think, is huge. That was the one criticism I was going to have for you guys for the earlier mock, where I felt like Nidalee is super high priority for Spica, and the flexibility he has from the jungle carries do allow for a lot of laner variation, whether it's AP carries like Vladimir or hard ADs like the Lucian or the Renekton that have a really strong synergy with this AP champion. Broxah's still best carries are Lee Sin and Graves, so it really does constrict a lot of what Team Liquid can go for. They blind Azir, gets clapped by Bjergsen Syndra.
Some flack to throw at Team Liquid for their approach to champion selecting game one, but I do like the call-outs for TSM's aggressive early game with, you know, ideal champions pretty much across the board for them. We saw TSM take it to Team Liquid pretty early on.
Yeah, I mean, this was, draft problems aside, like, TSM dominated them in this 2v2 bot lane. You know, we were hyping up how good CoreJJ was. They just, you know, go for a 2v2 solo kill. There's nothing going on here. In the meantime, Spica's just permanently top, and he was diving top, pressuring top, keeping the aggression up there, and they're naturally winning both sides of the matchup with only having pressure from the jungler and using resources on one of them. This is your counter-picked bot lane getting solo kills, and that allowed them to actually start stacking Drakes because they're just naturally winning over the whole map.
Yeah, and I feel like Team Liquid needs to recognize that Renekton Nidalee is really just a variation of what used to be Elise Renekton. Super strong 2v2 top side, but a much better scaling for the Nidalee and a much more reliable jungler in the current meta for AP. So if you view that composition from this lens, you know how much pressure they're capable of applying. Then you add to the fact that the 2v2 is winning to the point where the TPs can just come in and even obliterate the bot lane further of Team Liquid. Where are Team Liquid's advantages being generated from? Because side lanes clearly isn't it, mid lane is splitting, and Broxah is not being found in a lot of places. So that just lets Bjergsen do his thing with his Syndra, which was continuing to be a thing of beauty.
Yeah, probably mid lane was our featured matchup coming into the day, and game one, Bjergsen definitely won out.
Yeah, I mean, so this is kind of the deliverable Bjergsen brings. He wasn't hard smashing lane or anything. I do think he had a little bit of a CS lead, but the most important part is all the fights in TSM's favor from 15 to 30 minutes were off of Syndra stuns. They weren't like these huge Leona ults, which although Biofrost played well, the fact that all the fights were, you know, Syndra stun onto Braum, Syndra stun onto Azir, flash into Azir, like all these fights were like made off of this champion who like has pick potential, but shouldn't be your reliable engage. But for TSM, Bjergsen's basically your reliable engage now because of how strong he is on Syndra.
One day I hope to be good enough to turn a skill shot champion into a reliable form of engage, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, he has such awareness with the champion of when to fish with QE, when to hold his E for his R to get a bigger team fight done. He baited the hell out of Tactical one time. Tactical walks up like, the fight's been going on for a minute. He doesn't have ult, loses control of it, boom, insta-kill. It was a thing of beauty.
Now, real quick, I just want to talk game two. TL with side selection has gone to blue. No sub. So we're getting what we wanted in game one, but is it going to be too little too late? Sometimes one game is all you need in a best of 5 to turn the tables.
I thought this was going to be one of those series where you're swapping sides and both teams are, you know, have these really specific strategies. And the fact that you lose game one with side selection is a huge concern for me.
Yeah. I actually just wanted to speak a little bit about Syndra, because I remember she got nerfed. People were panicking. Syndra's completely out of the meta. But then when the best team in LPL is picking Syndra for one of the best mid laners and popping off, it's no surprise to see a player like Bjergsen play off so much pressure. You want to be playmaking, picks the champion right back up, and I expect this pick to continue to rise in priority this tournament, finals, and worlds.
Well, TL is looking for the answer here in this best 5 against TSM, and they think that answer comes on blue side. We're going to take a breather to learn about TL's Broxah, but when we return, we've got game 2, so we'll see you there.
Fnatic will turn their attention to the Nexus and are your champions!
I think it's fair to say that my career has been pretty successful so far. I've won 2 LEC splits, made quarterfinals at Worlds twice, made finals once. And I came here expecting and really hoping to continue that success and to make it even further. Obviously, with that in mind, the first step towards adding onto those achievements and reaching a higher level would be to win an LCS title. I joined Team Liquid with really high expectations of winning in North America and making a difference at international events, and Spring Split being a failure was difficult to accept. We had different issues happening around our team at Spring Split. Some were in our control, some were outside of our control, but at the same time I don't think there's any excuse for not even making playoffs. I've never missed playoffs before, and ending 9th place in Spring certainly wasn't something that I was proud of. Missing playoffs is not very excusable.
This is a roster with multiple people who've won world championships, another world finalist, MSI finalists. They finished 9th place.
These past years, Team Liquid has been the most successful organization in North America. When you think of Team Liquid, you don't think of a mediocre team, you think of a team that's actually able to compete and that almost nobody can take down in this region. There's really high pressure on this team. There's really high expectations coming both from the outside, but just as much from ourselves to actually perform. I have been very used to dealing with the exact same expectations in Fnatic and always considering anything less than winning a failure. It was a very new experience for me, a very difficult one, but I've always known that at some point throughout my career, there was going to be a sort of downfall. You can't really avoid that. Eventually, at some point, it's going to happen. Whenever I'm in a situation like that, while I feel a lot of pain at first, I, after some time, try to view it as a bit of a learning lesson in a way, try to grow from it and really make the most of it. I don't want to be remembered as part of one of the Team Liquid teams that ended up not having success, and that was to some extent a failure. I want to be remembered as part of the Team Liquid team that started another LCS win streak.
TL 15-3, the best they have ever done in the LCS. The top seed in the playoffs, looking for their 5th LCS title.
From where I stand, we need to win this LCS split in order for this year to be considered anywhere near success. Obviously, competing at Worlds is really important as well, but the first step in the right direction is to take home the trophy and really showcase what we're made of, showcase that we are, in fact, the best team in North America.
Welcome to Assist of the Day, presented by State Farm. With soul on the line in a game balancing on a knife's edge, Doublelift lands a double root and shows us that the Doublelift isn't just a magic trick.
FLICKR tries to fall back now as well, but TSM have a 4v3 and a path to the Ocean Tree.
Many of us are working from home and adjusting to new coworkers. Coworkers who borrow supplies and always interrupt meetings. A gift can help. And when you use your MasterCard, you have security benefits that keep you protected, so your purchase ends up in the right hands or mouth. And your staff can start something priceless.